Hi everybody out there in the comic book community central world. My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike.
You guys know me as DarkAvengerC86, and Mike's also on my site, but Mike also has his own site.
Yes, which is DudeOfRock18.
And both of us are comic reviewers. On my site, DarkAvengerC86, I do comic book reviews, weekly comic book reviews. I do book reviews. I, at the moment, have a podcast that I do with several of my other comic reviewing brothers and sisters out there. I've been a huge fan of comic books since I was a little kid. I think, Mike, you were as well.
Yes. I was like 10 years old. And I've collected Spider-Man comic books because he's my favorite superhero. I've read The Quality of Life as my first ever comic book, actually. And I went to playing video games with Spider-Man, and I've grown up reading his comic books, and I learned more from it. But our sites are different in some ways. Like his is comic reviews, whereas my site, DudeOfRock18, is mostly a wide variety of things, whether it be video games, announcements, or skits. Singing.
Mostly Michael's comic reviewing happens on my channel.
Exactly.
I grew up reading Superman comics since I was approximately 10 years old, around. I grew up reading Superman and Ultimate Spider-Man when Ultimate Spider-Man came out. As I grew up more, I got more interested in different characters. Ultimate Spider-Man grew me into Spider-Man because Mike was collecting Spider-Man. From Spider-Man, I got into other different comics. In DC, I was getting into other comics. Now my gallery or my collection of series is astronomical. Some weeks is like 20 comics. So I'm huge on comic books. I'm definitely not the smartest person there is out there when it comes to comic books. I don't know everything. I'm still to this day learning. You know, it's part of growing up. You learn, even when you're 90 years old, you can learn something. So I'm, at the moment, still learning. In the beginning of 2012, I decided to create this site. I was the one that actually created this site and and came up with the idea to make this channel. And I did it because I know this community is a great community. Our community is definitely one very unique, open, loving community. Not only amongst ourselves, but amongst our viewers and everything else. None of us are, you know, in competition to see who's better, who knows more. We don't do that. It's not like that here. In the forums, when I started on comic books, because I didn't have anybody interested in that before YouTube, I used to go on the forums, and man, with those places, all there was people trying to one-up each other, people fighting for supremacy and fighting each other for the most ridiculous reasons. Here on YouTube, we don't do that. We all have our individual opinions and ideas, and we all respect each other's opinions and ideas, whether we agree or disagree on a comic book. We all understand each other's differences, and we love each other more for it. This community, like I said, it's a wonderful community that I am more than honored to be a part of. You know, especially with the DC comic relaunch, now is the perfect time with the comic book community, because now comic books are coming up again. You know, for a long time people were made fun of for reading comic books. You know, in the 90s it was cool, and now with DC's relaunch, people are starting to get interested in comics again. People are starting to look into comic books again. So now is the perfect time for our community to grow, and our community has been growing exponentially. You look at him. A year ago today, he wasn't even reading comic books. The Punisher came out, Punisher #1, back into comic books. Not only is he reading Punisher, but finally, after 9 months of me begging him, he started reading Spider-Man again, because he wouldn't read it after Brand New Day. He swore...
Because the way that the
because of Mary Jane, yes.
Because of Mary Jane. And they deserve to be a good couple.
They'll get back. You know Marvel will fix that eventually. But anyway, 4 years ago, Mike and I opened up a joint site known as Brooklyn Boys 13. And... yes. A little bit after that, I made a very, I made a statement, very bold statement. I said that Brooklyn Boys is going to come up, and that there was going to be a Brooklyn Boys evolution. And I held true to my word, and our group site really came a long way. We went from having 20 subscribers to over 1,400 now, 1,400 plus. Yeah. I've never made a bold statement since then I am going to be making one more bold statement as far as YouTube communities and everything go. And my bold statement is this. The comic book community central revolution is about to begin. The evolution of the comic book community is at hand. So, as I said on Brooklyn Boys, I will say here, let the comic community evolution begin. And there's no stopping us.
Nope.
We
are comic book believers and readers.
And we're united. And that's what this site's going to do. We're going to evolve, and it's going to change into something huge. I can promise you guys that. If everything goes and everybody works together, like I know we will, because we are that tight. We are that much. We are second families to one another here. We all consider ourselves brothers and sisters to each other because that's just the way we are. So I know.
We're real brothers.
Me and Mike are real brothers. Yeah. No, really. We just live in the same house.
Well, in case they're newcomers, you know, just let them know about us. I mean, this is our first video. So.
Right. So I know that this evolution is gonna be huger than even Brooklyn Boys' evolution. This is going to be something bigger than all of us, bigger than me, bigger than him, bigger than both of us, bigger than any individual comic book reviewer out there. This is something huge that's about to begin.
And to reach out there for people who read comic books and to show another level of comic books so that comic books be known around the world. Worldwide.
Exactly. This is something huge. And if you're if you're starting to watch just now as these intro videos for all of us are going up, you are at the beginning of something that is hopefully, and from my lips to God's ears, if God is listening, you're on the beginning of something that is going to be huge. You are about to experience a new community rising. We have the gaming community, we have the videos and TV communities, we have the voice recording communities. Now it's the comic community's turn to take some spotlight. You know, comic books have been not under they've been under.
They teach us something.
They've been underestimated. They really have. You know, people say, "Oh, well, Batman, it's a movie. It's a great movie." No, Batman originally was a comic book written by a comic writer, Bob Kane. That's where Batman started, not the movies, my friends. So now that comic books, there's a lot of people interested. Now is the time for us as comic reviewers and us as the comic community to push that out into the spotlight and show the world that pop culture isn't just music, video games, and movies and TV. Comic books are around too, and they're very much pop culture with the artwork, the writing, both things. The inkers, the colors. There's so much involved in making one comic book. You guys will be very surprised on the credits. If you look at those credits per comic book, it takes a lot of people to make just one book. And they dedicate their lives to making these books. So,
and you know, like, there are good ones and there are bad ones, but, you know, there are other people, like I said in the beginning, that have different opinions, you know. And
so hopefully you are at the point, or if you're looking back and things have already taken off, you're at this moment now, you know, things are going to get big. I'm going to make the bold statement that the comic community evolution is at hand, my friends, and now is where us as a comic community are going to have to take off and push comic books into the spotlight and show the world exactly what comic books are.
And together, we shall assemble.
That's right. Alright guys, so that's our intro video. Have fun, cheers. I hope you enjoy this page. To my comic community brothers and sisters out there, I hope you enjoy working on this page as much as I enjoyed creating it, and will be working on it as well.
Yep.
Alright guys, catch you in a video either on my site or on this site soon.
And rock on.
Take care.